Shalom, Sister Kate here, doing a walk and talk. Haven't done one of these in a while. It's a beautiful day. It's going to be high in the upper 80s. There's a goat somewhere off to my right. There's chickens behind me. This talk is about medical myths about this virus. I'm carrying with me that hook thing so I can kill weeds too. I guess I can do that on the way back so I don't disturb the video. Anyway, 3 medical myths that are floating out in the Twitter sphere and the social media sphere, and they are not true. Or perhaps, yeah, the myths are not true. The medical reality is true. One big, huge myth that's going around, and lots of people are repeating it. I think they're repeating it for non-medical reasons, is that masks don't matter. And the arguments are, you know, what good is it going to do if you just like pull your shirt up? It's not going to do you any good, etc. Well, way early on in this virus time frame, Dr. Birx was saying they've done studies. Good morning. Hi, good girls. Dr. Birx was saying they've done some studies, and this virus can live on hard surfaces for a while. And she mentioned, doorknobs and windows and whatever. And she said, but not so much on cloth. So that's one reason that even putting your shirt up is going to do something. And then in one of my live streams, someone with some medical knowledge that I've known for a long time came on and said, yeah, it's going to do something. And that is a person that I respect a lot and has experience. And online, yes, there are doctors. Most of them are not epidemiologists. Some of them are just flat out a little nuts that are saying things like, just boost your immune system, you'll be able to fight off the virus, which in some people's case is true, especially young, healthy people. But that's just true in some cases. Overall, this virus has made just about everyone and anyone on the planet sick at one point or another, including infants and, 99-year-olds and in-betweens. And so you can't take just a few instances and make it into a general statement for the whole population. This virus has been through like 190 countries, so it's not a hoax, okay? It's not a hoax. But let's get back to the point. A mask will do something. And one of the biggest evidences, at least in my mind, in a really practical way, is that everyone who's treating COVID patients are wearing masks. And there's a counter argument, well, they're in a sterile environment, and so of course the mask, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. The droplets are coming out respiratorily out of someone's lungs in the air. If you have a mask, it's going to hinder some of them getting to you. And the amount that you're exposed to does affect how you catch it or not catch it. If you just get a few of those germs thrown at you, your body has defenses like your skin and hairs in your nose and saliva in your mouth that will help deflect that stuff. That's why they say wash your hands, because germs are often on your hands and you're touching your hands to your face. You're introducing the germs into your own system. But if you wash your hands and get them off, then you're not exposed. So exposure amounts matter. And some of the medical people now are saying that if you're in a very enclosed space with a lot of those germs, you're more likely to get it than someone who's outdoors like I am and not exposed to many of the germs. So a mask matters. The second myth, oh man, what is the second myth now? Okay, the second myth is that they're counting every death as a COVID death. No matter how the person died, they're saying it's a COVID death. This is a very easy medical issue that can be explained, no problem, if you understand how the medical system works. It's not every single person who dies. Hazak. It's not. It's every person who dies who's been tested positive for COVID. And yes, there are anecdotal stories online. Oh, I know a friend, I know of somebody who died in a motorcycle crash and he was counted as COVID. That I believe that's a person who doesn't understand the medical system relating a story that medically is probably not true. Here's the reality. Whoa, sorry to lose you guys. Didn't know I was going to sit down or I'd had this thing all prepped. Thought I was going to do just walk and talk. But, all right. Sorry, there we go. If that person tested positive for COVID and they also crashed and died in a motorcycle accident, they're going to have COVID somewhere on that person's medical record. It may be, the bottom line COVID death. It may be motorcycle crash and COVID. But the point is, because this is a novel virus, it's new, no one knows anything about it, and researchers and scientists are having to experiment on it even every day and come up with what findings they have. It's really important that anyone who dies who also has COVID is recorded, because one, the doctors need to trace how, where, when this virus moves, how it goes. Like if I had it, who did I come in contact with? How often do I come in contact with that person? Who among the people that I have had contact with in the last, 3-4 weeks now is positive themselves? So they can trace how it's passed, where it's passed, why it's passed. Did I work in an office with, everybody in a cubicle and we all worked together and I was positive and then I infected the people right around me? Or I infected the whole office? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like they have to research all of this to gather information on how this thing moves. And a second reason, and there's probably more, these are just the top two that I can think of off the top of my head, is when somebody dies and they're COVID positive, their body is going to be treated differently than someone who dies who is not COVID positive. And the reason they're going to treat that body differently is because they don't know if the virus can be passed post-mortem. That means after someone's died. So let's say you're in the hospital and you're in the, it's not the coroner's office. Oh my gosh, come on. You're in the part of the hospital where they handle people who have died. If you work down there and you're having to wash the body or, change the body in whatever they died in, now you have to take that off and you have to put them in a plastic bag or however they treat the body. If the virus can be passed from just fluids from that body, then the person who's handling the body has to know that and they have to protect themselves. And you all are saying, oh, come on now, you shouldn't be able to catch anything from someone who's already passed away. Not true. There are lots of germs in everyone's body. There can be people who have a blood-borne disease. There are people who can have respiratory diseases, people who have stomach issues. And when they pass away, doesn't mean the germs necessarily die right off the bat. And so the person handling that body can be exposed to all sorts of pathogens from that person's body. So that's why every person who's COVID positive has to be identified that way so that the people who are handling their remains can protect themselves. And there's a picture online, you can probably look it up yourself. In Indonesia, they were wrapping the dead bodies completely in plastic wrap. I won't say saran wrap, it's obviously some kind of plastic wrap, but the body that I think was probably National Geographic that this photographer had taken a picture of was covered from head to foot in plastic wrap. And that's not necessarily how, dead remains are handled in a normal situation. In some countries like England, people are not allowed to go to the funeral because, again, they don't know how oh, no, it's another word. See, these darn words. How communicable the disease is even after someone's passed away. Maybe inside the coffin, they're worried that there's now germs and that those could spread to people standing around outside. And if you think this is kind of far-fetched, the latest in the last 3 days, news is reporting that COVID has been found in food. It's been found to infect animals, zoo animals, household pets. So let's just say theoretically that, you know, your cat got COVID somehow. You let your cat out, the cat roams around the neighborhood, it comes in contact with somebody or another pet, gets COVID, comes back to your house, you pet your cat, you scoop your cat's litter box, you could have been exposed to the COVID virus. That your cat could be passing it through their gut system into their droppings, or it could be in your cat's saliva and your cat licks its fur and now you're petting your cat. Doctors don't know yet. They really have not figured out everything about this virus. And so that's a reason why it's important that people who are COVID positive and pass away have on their record COVID. It's not because people are making it up. It's because these things are very important scientifically. Okay, so what's a third myth? Oh, about the masks. With the CO2, you know, there's social media's got people on it saying, oh, don't wear a mask because your CO2 levels are going to get dangerously high. That's a myth, people. That's not a fact. Whoop! So here I am in a different outfit and in a different location because I needed to edit my video just a bit because of the carbon dioxide monoxide. And I had to look up carbon dioxide again real quickly. And it's really, really hard to get carbon dioxide poisoning if you are anywhere out breathing oxygen. The only times that you can actually get carbon dioxide poisoning is when you are scuba diving and your rebreather is not working, or you're diving too deep or too long, and then you can get a buildup of carbon dioxide in your bloodstream. Or if you were in some kind of location like a room that was completely enclosed and filled with carbon dioxide, then like possibly in a fire, you could get carbon dioxide poisoning. But having a mask over your face, and masks are breathable. See, the mask is not trapping the air in here, or you would run out of oxygen in one breath. There is air exchange happening when you wear a mask, so it's going to be impossible for you to get carbon dioxide poisoning from wearing a mask. And that's one of the claims that's on social media. That's just a myth, guys. It's not real. The other thing about carbon dioxide is there's a certain amount of it in air. Like if you just breathe in air, there is enough oxygen in the air for you to be fine. And you are breathing out the carbon dioxide. Your body is off-gassing it because your body can't use it. And what happens is trees take in carbon dioxide, and then they give out oxygen. So, like I said, unless you're in some kind of fire where there's carbon or organic materials burning, or you're in a situation like you're scuba diving, you are not going to get carbon dioxide poisoning from just breathing through one of these guys. This is one of those hysterical, non-medical, non-scientific myths that are going around social media, and it's a way to scare people so they're not really protecting themselves. There's articles from Houston, which had a huge spike, and now the numbers are going down. Doctors who were in that spike talk about them researching while they're treating everybody how people caught COVID, what are the circumstances, and the one doctor said when people were in enclosed spaces and unprotected from a mask and not washing their hands is when 90% of the people he's treating got COVID. Okay, so that's real information right there. It's real information that's happened in the last like 2 weeks, where the doctor's saying you need to protect yourself, you need to wash your hands, and don't be in enclosed tight spaces with people with the virus. So those are the 3 myths I think that most people are believing that are myths. So wake up, people. This is serious. Protect yourselves, protect the people around you. All right, bless y'all. This is like a rant. I hate ranting. I really do hate ranting. I want to just be happy and positive all the time, but I'm so concerned about everyone. I really want everyone to come out of this pandemic without having problems. And I know at least one Instagram subscriber whose stepfather just died of COVID. I don't want that to be you all, and I'm really sad for her. I mean, for her family. What a terrible thing to happen. And I care about you all. So protect yourselves, okay? Take it seriously. All right, bless you. Thanks for watching. Shalom.